Welcome to Good Game, the show for gamers by gamers.
I'm Junglist.
And I'm Kapowski.
This week on the show, we take a masterclass with Migman, and if there's anything he doesn't know about flight sims, actually no, he knows everything about flight sims.
And finally, we get to meet the guys behind Gamestah Radio, the best esports shoutcasters around.
And in reviews this week, we take a look at two of the most popular gaming franchises in recent times.
But first, here's Gamers News. According to a Netcraft survey, the internet has doubled in size since May of 2004. There are now over 100 million websites with over 27 million new sites this year alone. The growth is largely attributed to blogs and small business websites.
And as the internet grows, the most prominent game expo E3 shrinks. Douglas Lowenstein, president of the Entertainment Software Association who organizes E3, has said that invites to next year's event will be sent out in the next month or so, but that the number of people invited will be drastically reduced, with fewer than 5,000 people getting a ticket.
Overrated. A World of Warcraft guild have been banned by Blizzard Entertainment after it was caught hacking. Overrated claims to be the only US Horde guild that are able to clear Naxxramas, the latest and most challenging instance in the game. The guild had been running AQ40 and had used a wall hack to bypass many of the bosses to get to the final boss, Seathun.
This week we'll take a look at keyboards and mice. As the main way you'll interact with your computer, it's very important to get a good keyboard and mouse, so that your computer use is safe and easy. When deciding which keyboard you'll need, consider comfort above all else. You should be able to use the keyboard for long periods of time without your fingers, wrists, or lower arms becoming sore. It really is worth spending a bit of extra money on your keyboard. A generic keyboard will cost you around $10, but for that, you'll just get sore wrists. A good keyboard like this will set you back about $80 to $100, but it really will be worth it. As for the mouse, find one that feels right. Your hand should fit naturally around the mouse, and your fingers should fall easily on the buttons. For general gaming, a normal mouse will usually be sufficient, so look for 400 or 800 DPI. However, for anyone who plays FPSs seriously, it's a different story. You'll want to go for a high DPI laser mouse, which have greater precision and a higher sensitivity than standard optical mice, so allow close to $100 for one. As to the question of whether to go wireless or not, the argument that wireless mice lag is pretty much defunct nowadays with the advent of 2.4 GHz wireless, because there's no more lag. Most hardcore gamers will still go with a corded mice though, as there's no batteries to swap. To install the keyboard and mouse, simply plug it into the back of the computer in the USB ports. Don't use the PS2 ports if you can help it. And these days, high-end gaming mice require that you use the USB 2 port anyway, as they're transferring so much data every second. Next week, we'll take a look at audio. Should you be using speakers or headphones? And which sound card should you get?
Good game.
Hey gamers, can you name the retro game for this week?
Hey, aren't you being really easy on him, dude?
Well, yeah, it's one of my favorites and I wanted to get it on the show. The answer's at the end. Good luck. Singstar is one of the standout successes for the PlayStation 2, and it's been credited with bringing gaming to a much wider audience.
So it's no surprise there's a new edition coming out before Christmas, Legends.
But I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Every track was a #1, and there are classics from every genre and decade of music. From Sam Cooke to Nirvana,
From Black Sabbath to Whitney Houston.
Because the greatest love of all.
And look, the game's functionality is pretty much the same, but that's cool, because the game's functionality is pretty much perfect anyway.
and it's good to see that they've gone back to 30 tracks rather than just 20 they had in the previous release of Anthems.
So let's talk rubber chicks.
Well, this really isn't my style of game, and Kapowski has no song. He can't sing and he's got no rhythm, but I can see that this game will be a lot of fun at parties, so I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 chooks.
Yeah, it's a solid improvement over the last one. It's great that they moved up to 30 songs over 20, and they're all good. There's no lemons. So it's undeniably a great addition to any SingStar collection. 9 out of 10 from me.
Thank you very much.
Magnificent men in their flying machines. They go up to the up, they go down to the down. They entrap the ladies.
I'm here with Migman. He's our flight sim expert. How you doing, man?
Pretty good.
We're checking out Microsoft Flight Sim 10. We just flew on a DC-3, and we're gonna check out how it rates according to the real thing. What were you thinking, Migman?
I thought it was pretty smooth, pretty good, and we'll be looking forward to trying the same thing in the simulator.
Let's see how we go. Let's check it out.
That was a bit dodgy, but we survived, didn't we, Junglist? Were we still in one piece? Here we go. Is that your lunch on your lap there? Yeah.
All right, Migman, so you just flew in a real plane, and then you just flew in the FS 2000 flight simulator using Flight Sim 10.
Yep.
How similar are the two?
The simulator is about 98% close to the real thing.
But as far as the actual software, what do you think?
I think it's a great leap forward. It's going to make it a lot easier for people around the world to link up and fly together in the virtual world. I get them mixed up sometimes.
Let's get back to the studio and do our masterclass.
Excellent.
Peter, tell me, what is it about flight sims that's so addictive, and what is it that draws people to it?
Addictive? Is it addictive?
Do you need your fix?
Yeah, I'm getting it now, it's okay. I think because of the freedom in the genre, the freedom to do anything you want to do in an aeroplane.
And is it easy to get into? Because it looks like it has like pretty steep learning curve.
Yeah, it is easy to get into if you get some guidance. And most of the sims now have got all that built in. You've got lessons, tuitions, tutorials.
Take us through your rig. What's all the stuff we've got here?
The MIG rig, this is the mini MIG rig.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the Hot As, which is a replica of an F-16 control system down to every last detail and millimetre, every butt, which is two parts to it. You've got the joystick and the throttle.
And what's the spidery thing on your head?
My favourite Martian gear. Well, look at the screen. We're looking straight ahead. Now, if I look at you, the view moves to the right as well, see? If I look over there, look right over my shoulder.
First thing you do in a flight sim when you start is take off, right? So
That's right, yeah.
Can you show us how to do that?
Sure thing. So we've made sure that the throttle's pulled right back, the engine's running, there's no old ladies crossing the runway. Here we go. Push the throttle forward gently. Watch the airspeed. It's in kilometres. We're really taking off. This is a hot machine. 250 kilometres, 280 to 300, 350. Let's pull back on the stick, pull back, hold it back, about 10 degrees up. And, yep, we're climbing. We're at 30 metres already. Gear up. Let's go outside and have a look. Here we come. And
Flawless.
we'll just fly right up and see.
Going down.
Look, they're braking left, right, and every which way. I'm going to keep going on these guys on the left. It's a bit of a yo-yo here, a little small yo-yo. Here we go. And I'm still behind them, see? Now, that's a good gun range.
That technique you just used, the high G yo-yo.
Yep.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
So often you're going a lot faster when you find the bad guy. Like these guys were ready to drop bombs, they can't go supersonic. So we might be 200 or 300 knots faster than them. Say you're the bad guy.
Yep.
And I'm the good guy this time. And I come in, you see me, you pull right hard, right? This way,
Pull right
that's
hard.
right. And you turn real quick, and suddenly I'm right out in front of you.
And then I'm behind you.
You shot gun right through me. That's right, because I was going a lot faster than you. So this time you'll do the same thing, small circle.
Yep.
And I won't go, no, go on, round you go. High yo-yo, I roll so I can still see you, and I go high. So I convert that speed to altitude. I'm high, and I'm still behind you. Then I can roll down, as I did there, and shoot the missile.
Excellent.
That's the yo-yo.
So take us through this whole landing procedure.
Okay, well, the key to a good landing, as any instructor will tell you, is the setup. If you set yourself up well, you should be able to land like this. The computer's telling us we should be at 260 knots, and hey, what do you know?
We are.
We are. And we should be at the altitude of 400, and we're pretty close. And we just tweak the heading. In landing phase, the controls are reversed. You use the throttle to control your altitude, rate of descent, and you use your stick to control your speed. That takes a bit of getting your head round
Yeah.
at first.
Landing at about 300
That's right.
k's per hour.
That's right. And here we go.
Slowing
We're
down.
down. We're on the ground. We're going to pop the brake and shoot. Here it comes. Brake and shoot. The wheel brakes on. Trim down. Spin around. Have a look.
Beautiful. Peter, aka Migman, thanks for coming on Good Game, showing us the world of flight sim.
My pleasure. Anytime.
I'll see you online for a dogfight.
Excellent. Check 6.
Good game.
Boom shakalaka! The winner of the best review of the week is...
Good game. Good game.
The Independent Games Festival happens every year as part of the Game Developers Conference in America. It's a call-out, an international call-out for independent developers to put their games up into a competition that awards a series of prizes. So it's a big opportunity for all of the independent developers to see their work exhibited right in the middle of the biggest kind of game developers conference in the world.
How many games have you actually got in the exhibition here?
We show the winners, and then we've got a selection of other games that we think are interesting. So altogether, we've got 16 of those games exhibited here.
What makes a game independent?
It means that you haven't got publisher backing, you're not taking publisher money, and it really seriously means you're just really answerable to yourself in terms of the creative decisions that you make.
One thing I've noticed, Helen, is the graphics look a lot simpler in the games here than the games that I would buy. Why is that?
There's really differing levels of what people are trying to achieve. A game like Darwinia, which won Best Design, it samples and pays homage to a whole series of old arcade games, so they wanted it to reflect all of that history of game design and the look and feel of those games. But also, as we all know, you can put a lot of money into the graphics of a game, which may just be eye candy, when really it's the gameplay that matters. And the Independent Games Festival is sort of really about gameplay.
What would you say is the biggest thing to come along to independent game development in the last few years?
Digital distribution. I think that the movement towards digitally distributing your games and having a centralised sort of place where people can find games and find games of a high quality that are peer reviewed is going to make the biggest difference to the independent developer, because it means that if you're a small company, you don't have to sell a huge amount of units to recoup your budget costs. So if you've got the support of a digital distributor who's going to cover a lot of those overheads for you and are going to help people find your game, which is the critical thing that we all know, in trying to finding good games and getting them onto people's computers, that's going to be the huge difference.
Do you have a favourite?
I have a series of really embarrassing favourites. Curiously, that Scrabble game, Tommy and the Magical Words, you can spend hours playing that. Professor Fizzwizzle, which is like a little platform or puzzler. Darwinia is the most sophisticated game here, and it is a great game that rewards people who knows things about games. There's a game here called Cloud, which is a really beautiful experiment in games. Dofus, the French massive multiplayer online flash game, Those guys have come from a background of drawing comic books and anime, and they developed these quite extensive worlds, and then they thought, hey, we have this really extensive fantasy world. We love games, and we'll make it into a game world. And you've got to love a game world that you can play in Flash, and if you're lucky enough to get it through your firewall, that you can play at work.
So how do you see the future for independent game developers? Is it a bright one?
I think so. I think particularly through digital distribution that there's lots of opportunity there. And also there's really bright and talented people in the games industry. And as we get fewer and fewer commercial publishers, and there's a lot of conservatism in the larger companies about meeting a market expectation and selling units, I think the independents are going to grow as they have in the film industry, and independents are going to be just such a critical part of where new thinking and new ideas and changes come from.
Good game.
This is a city with a dark secret. A dark secret like, I waited until you left the house and then I used your toothbrush. I used your toothbrush to brush my pubes. This is a cop with a tail. Actually, the tail was amputated at birth by a shrewd and quick-thinking midwife. It was coily like a pig's. Coily like the hairs in your toothbrush. Coily like the team.
Previously on the team, we met players Simon and Oscar. Oscar was spying on Simon because he might be a gun smuggler. This man was also in the episode, Penis, but he didn't really do anything. This week, we meet Ivan. He's an undercover cop with a penchant for hookers.
So do you come here often? I don't mean the streets, I mean this nice part of town. That's my police station back there. I like your dress. You seem like a nice person. What do you do for fun? Do you like to fly kites? Hi, I'm stealthy like underground bunnies, but hard like doors in the walls of banks. I've been sent to spy on and watch and take out Oscar, who's been discovered running an illegal pig farm in South Queensland and sending the profits to a circus smuggling operation in Kwamistan.
Kwamistan, where circuses are illegal and the letter U is banned.
You make me sick right to the pit of my arms, and I've got low arms. Now you better walk yourself off this field right now, or I'm going to arrest you and take you downtown on charges of Kwamistan sympathization.
Ah, well, I guess the only thing to do right now is give myself, you'll never catch me now.
You know, you could have stopped that.
A little late for could-haves, really. And so it was that Ivan left the soccer game, a desert wanderer on the plains of a virtual world, destined never to rest, nor to be counted as a feather in the giant cap of the police's only long-armed officer. Until...
A vile henchman. You must be on the right track.
he was caught soon thereafter. Next week, we meet a new player on the team. And maybe she's a girl. Maybe you'll have to watch The Team.
Off the return, we've had a German spawn. We're following Ixor here. 5 minutes, 57 seconds left in the round. This is the GA ET Season 7 Grand Final. Coming to you live on Gamestah Radio with EJ and Bob, following Whitface now, coming down with his teammates. They've already got the east parts, but they're still actively boosting there.
The Allies moving nicely down to the east and radar pass. One of them grabs and does a quick bounce off.
Heading out to the east now. They're off with them, Bob. Frynog here doing a great job defending this eastern part. The Allies have the part.
Well, I'm here with EJ and Bob from Gamestah. Thanks a lot for joining us on Good Game. For those viewers who have yet to hear a Shoutcast, what is it?
Shoutcasting is basically, well, if you watch football and you've got the football commentators, just a sports commentator for online gaming.
And you guys do all this from the basement here?
We do indeed. Gamestah Studios is our home location. We've got about 20 casters all up within Gamestah.
All over Australia and some from New Zealand.
And from New Zealand, yeah. Yep. The good thing about Shoutcasting is that anyone can do it. It's a free piece of software put out by Nullsoft at shoutcast.com. Go there, grab the software needed to be a DJ, drop us a line and we'll happily hook you up and get you casting. And it's wonderful that anyone can do it from their own home computer.
Yeah, there he is. Oh, Whisper. That's a double hit.
Oh, the godfather of Counter-Strike, Whisper, Australian Counter-Strike legend there, gets a triple before Edison finishes him off, and that's the end of the Whisper run for that round.
It's not just from basements or bedrooms or from the home. We also go to LAN events.
We do.
And then we'll broadcast from the LAN event to the internet or to the audience in the LAN, the matches that are occurring at the time.
And how do you guys go about choosing the Shoutcasters?
Sure, we've got a good process for application. Casters are required to submit a demo of them casting a match, so we encourage casters to download a demo of a game that they like playing, record themselves to that and submit that to Gamestar. We have a listen and we bring them on board, and we offer a lot of tutorials and a lot of coaching and mentoring for new casters to get them up into the speed they need to be out there casting for Gamestar.
The CTs, three of them, have got to work together
Oh,
to get back
Stardock
into
gets
the
one,
side.
takes out the Malaysian superstar in Jackal.
And Kulex gets the kneel. Kapowski takes out Kulex. Edison, though, from the pit, takes out Stardock. Edison in the pit.
I personally started shoutcasting in 2002 when Return to Castle Wolfenstein came out. And back then, shoutcasting in Australia was a very ad hoc thing. We would have casts maybe 2 or 3 times a month, different individuals, just on privately hosted servers and things. There was no real force in Australian shoutcasting, and we thought, well, let's get together and make an entity, a place where people can go centrally in Australia to get all their shoutcasting needs.
How professional do you want it to get?
Well, I guess that's really on the scope of esports in Australia. In Korea, for example, there are professional shoutcasters who do a full-time living commentating esports. Now, we would love to get to that level here in Australia where Bob and I were able to give up our day jobs and do shoutcasting for a living.
And as it does become more professional, do you see it becoming less fun for you guys?
Oh, there's no doubt we've had to moderate our shoutcast, and if you go back into the archive files and you listen to some classic
Some
EJ
early
casts
stuff, yeah.
from many, many years ago, they quite simply wouldn't get to air today. It's that case, but you meet your audience and you meet your target audience, but you can still have humour in your casts.
Oh, Junglist around the corner.
Oh, with a shotty.
With a shotgun. That's an awful way to die, EJ.
Oh, it's a shocking way to die, Bob. Shotgun to the testicles. Terrible.
So what are some of the innovations in shoutcasting nowadays?
The number one would be war room crosses, where during matches that we're commentating now, with the permission and the consent of the teams, we will actually cross live to their channels, their voice channels, during the match, so that the community can hear what the pressure is like and how players respond under pressure vocally when they're in a match. And it's been a great asset to the organisation, Bob, and it's something the listeners really look forward to, is hearing how each other sounds when they're under pressure in a game.
So how do people access Gamestar?
Sure, they can go to our website, www.gamestar.com, and you'll see active links there when a cast is on. So all that listener needs to do is to click on the link, and the cast will open up in a program for them, usually Winamp or Media Player Classic, and they can listen into the cast.
Well, EJ, Bob, thanks a lot for the service you provide the Australian community, and thanks a lot for talking to us on Good Game. I'll be listening.
Entries for the competition have already started to roll in. Remember, have yours done by November the 24th.
You better get cracking. You gotta ask yourself, do you want to win the beast, or do you want to give it to this guy?
Tonight I will be reviewing The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past for Super Nintendo. You will not complete this game, even if you know all the secrets, within 2 days.
Send us any kind of gaming segment at all, just like you'd see on Good Game.
And visit the website, it's got all the information on how to enter. Good luck and have fun.
Now, neither Kapowski or myself have ever played The Sims before, but it's safe to say no matter what your favorite game is, Sims has kicked its ass on the charts. So we figured that many people can't be wrong. Let's check out the latest expansion.
Well, it's been 7 years, 2 versions, and 11 expansions since the first Sims was released. All in all, the most successful game franchise ever. And with this latest edition, Sims 2 Pets, you can add a feisty feline or a loyal companion to your virtual family.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making a dog. There you can see my little dog there. He's running around in the garden. You can change the colors and the breed of your pet, but all in all, I felt the customization of the pets was still a bit bland. I mean, unless you want to limit yourself to just feeding and watching, you're pretty much stuck with just a cat or a dog.
Yeah, totally. I tried to add a alienated dog with 2 heads, but I was really restricted with the customization. But what was cool was the online sharing option. You can share your pets online.
Dobrino, Kapatovo, Eje, Jedivu, Mikata.
The Sims world will be very familiar to seasoned players, and whilst your pet is not exactly vital to your Sims survival, they will make it easy to meet the neighbours and get along.
Do you want it? Hello for city.
You can train your pet to do tricks and give it love. In fact, if you don't, he may end up being a naughty boy.
Look, I didn't even get that far into it, but apparently your pet can get a job and give your bank balance a boost as well.
Yeah, and there can be quite a lot of action on the mating front. With the pets, that is. And if you end up with a new kitten or puppy that you like, you can register as a new breed as well.
One thing my mate who's a Sims player did say is that there's not actually much extra content in the expansion. There's no new outfits or new places to go, so she was pretty disappointed by that.
Well, I've been playing the game for a little bit now, and I've kind of got into it, you know, putting in your furniture and teaching your pets to do new tricks, and I can see the fun behind the game. I can see why people do get into this virtual world. It can be very relaxing in front of your computer rather than just bashing out those RPGs all the time.
Yeah, you know, it's not going to give you any sort of adrenaline rush, but, you know, I see Sims as just sort of a life simulator. So, if you like pets in real life, go for it. It'll be a great expansion for you. If you're sort of indifferent to pets, then this expansion doesn't really have enough content to be an expansion.
I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 shooks there, Jung. How about you?
Well, you know, I know a lot of people who are heavily into The Sims, and I can see them enjoying this a lot. But as far as expansions go, it just doesn't have enough content. I'm giving it 6 out of 10.
So did you guys get the name of the game for this week? It was Mortal Kombat, and it was released in 1989 by Midway. It was really well known for its over-the-top violence with fatalities, uppercuts, and blood sprays.
Next week, we've got a masterclass in one of the world's most competitive games, Counter-Strike Source.
We take 4 players from our forums and pit Team Kapowski versus Team Junglist in Age of Empires 3. It's a Ruffle Cup!
Plus, we take another look at Guitar Hero 2, and we've got Medieval 2 Total War.
Till then, we'll see you online. Kapowski out.
Junglist out.
Mortal Kombat! Get over here! Fatality!